because I was just like, it's not quite Friday, so I made a nacho joke.
Nacho Friday.
My degeneracy takes over, so yeah.
I was just like, that's worse than a cryptic joke. That was worse than a cryptic joke, so I owned it.
Let me get. Oh, whoa! Fuck you, bastard! You bastard!
Yes.
I accidentally fucked that up.
We should technically be live, just to warn you.
Yeah, I was just trying to get the link to share it out.
Oh, there it is.
Hi, everybody.
It's just slow to load sometimes. It's one of those things with it's one of those things I keep meaning to say to Bloodwing is like half of his intro's being cut off because he starts a little too soon, and half the time I start too late because I'm just like, it takes a minute, and my computer's kind of shit, so it's gonna take more than a minute. All right, so I'm kind of side shilling at the moment. So if you have anything that you're trying to share with me, I can't see it, but I will look in just a second. So.
Yeah, I'm hitting all the usual places, sharing the stream.
It's nice having a co-host. Let me tell you, the one thing that, and this is why Monkey is so nice to Star, is because she does this for him.
While he's busy doing a show, yeah.
You know, because like this is one of those things when you're doing it by yourself, it's actually work. And it makes you look so professional too. It's like, hey guys, I have to advertise for myself. Don't forget to like my stream. Oh
boy!
Oh boy! If you like my stream, maybe I can convince Satsu someday to send us a little side boob. Not a full boob, just a side boob.
Oh!
He's never consented to that, by the way. He's
Wait, who did I just get to snort? Was that you, Noof?
No, that was me. Yeah, that was me.
Woo-hoo!
If you guys get
delicious.
me going, I'll sound like a duck.
No, it's actually just really funny. I was on Jack Gunsky's gaming stream on Tuesday, and some of the jokes were just like they had me snorting like a fucking crazed man.
Terry and those guys are just, and Moonchuck. And like they're just funny. They're funny as hell. Mustafa is sneaky. If he ever plays a game with you, he is sneaky. He's very good. For the record, if you come in, Mustafa, this is me saying you're actually really good. Some people, he's it's one of those things where you find out where people are better in different forms of comedy. Like for me, I'm kind of a little bit slapstick, and I do rip off other jokes too. But I make a point of pointing it out when I do those. Like I'll use South Park references all the time because half the time I treat it like my meme Bible. South Park and Robot Chicken have been my meme Bible for a really long time.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, you've probably learned by now, mine's more of a drier, British almost style of humor, but also really quick on the uptake.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like someone will say something, and I like that's why I was playing off so well with those guys on Jack Gunsky's. I can read the room and play off of them, and it was so much fun. Can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, that's the best way to do comedy, is just so organic. And I grew up watching Whose Line Is It Anyway? So
yes.
So plus, I'm one of those guys. I barely have a filter, so I'm just as surprised as anybody else in the room, whatever comes out of my mouth. So it's been very, very interesting to say the least.
Ooh, I'm not even on the right screen. If you were sharing something with me, I'm so professional that I was looking at the wrong screen, so I have no idea.
Oh, I'm not sharing anything yet. I'm still posting
going on
in people's Discords and stuff. And
hell,
oh my God, it's been
so there's gonna be a fun one.
We might have a bit of a quiet one. I don't know. Thursdays are kind of weird, and we did have Bloodwing streaming, which was nice, but
it's kind of our first Wednesday, Thursday.
But I think he was avoiding me a little bit, and I was like, Bloodwing, you don't have to avoid me. You could just be like, Jen, I'm a little bit worried about too much politics in my stream, and I would have been like, well, I wasn't really going to do that with you. I was going to tell you about my shrieking on the forest more than the politics, because I have an Andrew Scheer for this one. Like I was saving that one for
right.
And I don't like pulling that on him all the time. Like, the initial 2 was me talking to a dad figure that wasn't my dad. that's basically what I told him. He's just like, well, I don't mind that every once in a while, but and I'm like, that's basically what I don't do that. But I was fully planning on, like, if he didn't invite me, I was just going to go into the forest, because it's probably one of the few games where I will scream because it's pure frustration.
Right. And you heard me. I haven't been streaming it, but you heard me playing. We were talking a bit earlier in the week while I was playing State of Decay 2.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that game! I finished the one story mode. It was so cool, and hard. Like even on the lowest difficulty, that game is fucking hard. Zombie survival, blah blah blah. A lot like 7 days without all the nitpicky, like very specific building materials and everything. This is more just, okay, collect a bunch of junk and then you can build structure X, Y, and Z in your base and craft stuff. And it's a little bit more simplified. So you're doing less specific hunting. And instead of grabbing, I need concrete. Oh, I need metal. I need this. You're just getting materials. So construction materials.
Sorry.
Arms killer. You're getting ammunition, you're getting medical supplies. So it's sort of just a little bit more generic on that end. So there's a lot more to do with survival, saving other people, helping other people out. And it's got a whole lot of mutated zombies and stuff. So it was just like craziness.
Yeah, so
I love games like that.
My current game of the forest, I am full outright just figuring out the building. Like, I really kind of want to get an idea of where the strategy really has to be, because, like, my biggest complaint with it so far is the demand for wood. So, like, trying to build a simple cabin and you're chopping down a tree for like half the day and it gives you 4 wood and you're like, I need 92 of these assholes to make one cabin. And you're like, fuck you.
How you doing, Inked?
Hi, Inked.
Thanks for coming by.
So I learned something interesting. They have stone walls in there. You know what you do, guys? Build with stone walls. Fuckers, there's stones everywhere.
Build the stone walls and protect your wood, because everybody's coming for your wood.
They're coming for your wood, boys. And you need 92 of those motherfuckers to build a cabin. I'm just like, if that was the case, I would be using something else, I'm just saying. There's like sticks everywhere. There are ways to build at least a shack with sticks. At least for the initial phase, But yeah, that was my complaint with the game. It was that and the hitboxes. I'm like, you know what? If I have a spear and I'm standing like 3 feet away from something, I should be able to give it like a short jab throw and be accurate. I'm sorry, there should be. If you can't make that explicit in the game, that's what the hitbox is for. I realize some people don't like that because it makes them feel like they can't figure it out, but you should have some way of testing where you're going with it. That's, just FYI. I like to snipe a lot. It's one of those things that I do. And at least the archery, they've got it down. So I'm like, okay, well, at least I can snipe everybody now. That's one thing I'm good at. If they had a sniper rifle, I would be doing a tree stand and just sitting up there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In the tree stand, playing with your wood while sniping people off. That
sounds pretty Canadian, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does actually. Find some caribou while you're at it.
Just bring me a sandwich every once in a while. I'll just keep the village safe. I'm just saying, and it'll be fun. Every once in a while, you'll hear a gunshot and be like, "Holy shit!"
So, breaking news, to follow up with our last show story with the insane, quote unquote, insane Santa sweatshirts, the Christmas sweaters that were being taken off of Walmart.ca. Thanks to Noof, he found these stories for me. They're now bestsellers on Amazon.
I think that,
and as you can see,
kills me, man.
You've got some other ones that weren't originally shown. I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas, Merry Christmas, and he's doing some blow. But we saw this Let It Snow.
that Walmart is probably bitter right now. Like, I mean, they probably had to make the choice that they made, but at the same time, they're probably bitter as hell.
Yeah, I think somebody in the marketing department really fucked up, and early
Well,
Christmas bonus, I guess.
Their purchasing power is one of the strongest of consumer goods in North America and in both Canada and the United States. So they go through so many different products. I mean, and most normal people, because you know how we live in this post-truth world, a little slur right there. It doesn't matter what the majority of people think, because it's always that vocal minority of insane retards who are usually insane leftists these days. Let's not pull our punches. Yes, you do have still the little insane right too, but they're less vocal in the public sphere right now. It's more so just a little bit of maybe disagreement. They're not as openly insane right now, and there certainly isn't a lot of it. Let's see. I don't know if it actually has how much it's been doing. Yeah, because with this happening, Amazon pulled the Christmas ornaments featuring pictures of the Nazi concentration camp Auschwitz from its site, which I thought was hilarious. Again, Jew, I make more Holocaust jokes than anybody I know. I've lost family due to the Holocaust, and such is life. Shit happens, and sometimes there are really, really bad things. But some of us use humor to, I wouldn't say cope, but to diffuse the seriousness of these types of serious events, and to remember, reflect, but also move past it. You know what I mean? Like, it was bad. There's no real Nazis. Like those Nazis, they don't really exist anymore. Well, there's Merkel, but but in all seriousness, like, those guys don't exist anymore. So it's who cares? But I think I might be getting one of those sweaters for Christmas from Elwyn. Oops, I just doxed her. Yeah, my better half might be getting me one of those ugly Christmas sweaters, which is going to be awesome because, Jew in a Christmas cocaine sweater.
That is definitely the best Christmas gift of life right there. Jew in a fucking Santa.
Oh, what's this? Breaking news.
Whoop. What's breaking news?
Well, if you'd share the screen. Canadian octopus attacks bald eagle in Canada, and it was all caught on video.
Oh yeah, I was watching that this morning. Oh yeah, that was.
Let's get some of this.
Look at that, man.
Look at him.
And you can tell that the octopus is pissed off because he's so red.
Oh yeah, he is not happy, and I mean, he's not happy. Look at the fucking bird.
he's just like, well, this is a great start to my day.
So much for your
bird things.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Oh yeah,
both the eagle and the octopus.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've seen enough hentai. I know where this is going, but anyways.
At the same time, though, as much as I don't like the idea of the bird getting eaten, that's really not fair.
It's nature.
Yeah, that's really
not. But
I
mean,
fair.
at the same time, aren't bald eagles a protected class?
I think that's the justification here, but at the same time, though, I don't know that they're so endangered that, like, one of them getting eaten, I don't know.
I mean, I agree with you. Nature can sometimes, but I mean, we've had such an impact on the world as a whole, and especially to other species. Mm-hmm. I don't mind this so much because it's like, oh, they happened upon it. It's not like they're going out and helping or preventing octopi from eating. But
yeah, it's one of those
they came across it. I think it was kind of, but to me, it was like, Canadian octopus takes down bald eagle. That's right,
Hashtag
America.
octopi
That's
rights,
right. We're Canadians. We're peaceful. We're happy people. But
I'm
don't
sorry
fuck
your
with us,
chick
son.
didn't consent to that tentacle action. I'm sorry. It's one of those nature things where I'm just like, I don't know where the morality is there. Like, I get where they were going, but
Right.
I still hesitate. I hope they at least fed the octopus afterwards. You know, there's this part of me who's like, well, I mean,
they don't have a problem. They don't really have a problem eating. They are vicious. Well, I wouldn't say vicious, but they are very efficient hunters in their environment, and even outside of their environment. People have probably seen the stories over the years of octopus coming on land and fucking eating a snake or something.
Yeah.
They're oh my god,
jars and
cephalopods are
stuff.
so crazy.
well, they're smart too. Like, there's a lot of respect.
Hella fucking intelligent.
Yeah.
Super fucking crazy. I mean, they are apex predators, and there's just so much about them. Could probably have an entire stream just about octopus. And they actually taste good, a little panko and deep fried.
Could you imagine the thoughts going through
Or
that
in butter.
octopus's head, though?
Deep fried in
He's
butter.
just like, I go
Or
out
butter.
and I get myself some damn good chicken, and here these assholes are just ripping them out of my mouth. Out of my mouth!
Oh
but
yeah,
when
and
you
that
think about it, he's being like a bougie like octopi. Just be like, oh, look at this thing. I want to eat it now.
that was his Thanksgiving turkey. He was taking it home to the wife, and he was gonna stuff it. And
All those
but he
little
did not
octopi
look
babies are
happy.
gonna
That
starve now.
It's in the works, blind girl. I do have one from I think it's the Toronto Sun. But yeah, I do have an Andrew Shear in the works. I just want to get some fun ones out first, so people are like, "Oh, this is enjoyable." We'll talk about bald eagles being eaten by Canadian octopi. No tentacles, no consent.
and yeah, arms killer. It was off the eastern the coast of eastern Canada, so Newfoundland, Labrador, the Maritimes. And it was a Canadian octopus fucking pulled a bald eagle into the water. And,
What? This is a euphemism for sheer. Oh my god, it works. Isn't he originally from the US or something? Like, that's what I heard lately.
He's got a dual citizenship.
He's dual,
So
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So am I. I mean, some of us,
Yeah.
you can't just go get it, apply for it. You're either one or the other. But I was born on American soil, but my parents are Canadian, so I have dual citizenship.
Okay.
Ever since 9/11, I haven't really gone back across the border. I traveled the U.S. extensively for various reasons, but since 9/11 and the just massive increase of just stupid stories you read about people getting banned for no reason, like they'll get 5-year bans for nothing. They're real assholes at the border ever since the Patriot Act. So fuck them. I'm going to bring up that story again, just so people can see it while we're talking.
Oh, sure. Just share it.
Sharing it again. I'll bring up that video. I'm going to play it again for people who just came in. Even though I know BG, you can't see it, but these fishermen are pulling this giant fucking octopus with the bald eagle submerged under the water. His head is poking up out of the water. The rest of him is being covered by this octopus, and he looks pissed.
Amazing. Look at the size of this. Wow.
And he's a big boy too. That octopus is big. He's bright red, and he is pissed.
These are the biggest octopus in the world. Yep.
Look at this thing.
Look at the size of this.
Yeah, you can just imagine this guy is like a giant kraken, like the guy coming out of the
I mean, to give you some kind of perspective, that's about I'm about 6.5 foot. That octopus is about as big as me. So he's about as big as a higher end size human male. That motherfucker could take me down if he wanted to. Thankfully, octopus are relatively nice to humans. Again, with them being so smart, they kind of realize that we're not really food unless they're desperate, because we can fight back.
Yeah, but also with their brains being like a donut, they try to eat a human, we would actually cause them brain damage.
Probably.
So the bougie octopus would go to a complete and utter babbling vegetable then. Singing Under the Sea from Little Mermaid.
Make me eat. Well, they're not really calamari. I was going to say calamari, but octopus are a little different.
How dare
By a
you?
lot. By a little bit. By a little bit.
I should be in the water.
Just two
They could be
tentacles
they could
and
be octopus
size.
dumplings, which I know the Japanese name for it, but for some reason my brain's just like, nope.
Oh,
That octopus was just like, how dare you? I should be in the water.
That's another conversation for like. I mean, we could pull that one up, but like, I'm sure everyone's tired.
No,
of Greta.
let's talk about let's get some of the serious shit out of the way. I just wanted to bring that up because again, Canadian stream, just the power of Canada, fucking giant octopus eating a fucking bald eagle. Like, what the fuck? Like you there's very few points in life where you get just such Schadenfreude. Delicious Schadenfreude, and it's like. Ugh. And to have it, in today's, information age, having it, captured on video is even more delicious.
Blind girl. Doug Ford should be sent to the goulash. Goulash. It's
Goulash is
gulag.
delicious. Goulash is delicious, though.
I don't want Doug Ford in my goulash. That would be nasty.
Yeah, I'm not. He's one of the rare few people on the list of that I would not eat. I feel like he'd be tainted from his brother's like cocaine habits or whatever.
I don't doubt he does his own thing. I don't doubt he's got his own.
The
'Cause,
thing
like-
is, there's a lot to criticize. He's very much, politics-wise, he's very much that sort of Trumpian character, not in his policies, but in how people treat him. So, yes, there's lots of things, like Blind Girl is pointing out, because of some of the appeals to the autism plan as far as education goes and government support. That's stuff that you can actually bring up, criticize. Some of his policies, not so great. The alternative in the provincial Liberals was even worse. But these crazed leftists who want to call him, the Ontario's Trump and mean it more literally. No, you're focusing on the wrong things. You want to talk Doug Ford? Let's talk about the bad policy decisions he's made. There are some that, obviously conservative. So things are going to be a little bit tighter around the midsection, if you know what I mean. And he's not the best of candidates, but again, compared to the Liberal party that came before it, good. It was more of it was more of a vote in Ontario towards and Jen, I don't know if you know, Noof is in Ottawa. I doxed him.
No.
So another Ontarian, but he's representative right now of the East Coast. The provincial Liberals.
69 in the chat.
The provincial Liberals here were just fucking like we're talking about actual child indoctrination into sex cults.
Yes.
Like the LGBTQ sex cults at we're talking
God, that was
5, 6, 7, 8 years old being indoctrinated into the Alphabet Soup Club. And it's like you're doing what, mate? You're doing what to our children?
Yeah, exactly.
You're teaching them about butt fucking and having two daddies or two mommies and how that like works on a sexual level. No, fuck off. That is my responsibility and my right to decide if I'm going to teach my child about these kinds of things. Your job is to give them the birds and the bees, like the brass tacks about sex. And when they're older, when they're actually going through puberty and having these thoughts and saying to themselves, I don't understand what's going on with my body, then yes, you split up the boys and the girls. You have, just a real brass tacks, down to earth talk about this is the changes that are going on with your body. These are the kinds of thoughts you're having. And then, at the end of the curriculum for that, you bring the boys and girls together and you kind of share. Yeah, guys, girls are going to be having periods. And yes, girls, boys are going to be walking around with sticks in their pants in the hallway. Nothing, and neither is anything to be ashamed of. This is all natural stuff. But, at the same time, the boys don't need to know the nitty gritty of the periods just yet. and the girls don't need to know the nitty gritty of the the random erections and stuff like that boys go through just yet. I'm sure later, 16, 17, 18, they're going to figure this shit out. Their parents might talk to them about it. They're kids, so they talk about it with each other. Kids aren't that dumb. I mean, our job as adults, as parents, as society is to teach them the skills they need to think and to figure things out for themselves and make the right decisions, but not make the decisions for them.
No, exactly. Exactly. Like, and this is why it just pisses me off whenever I see all these like helicopter parents and what was it? Not too long ago, I was reading this article about how this one kid went for a job interview at like a Old Navy or some retail place, and their mother was there for the interview.
Wow.
Just to make sure that the kid gets in, and then the
talk about your helicopter parenting.
Exactly, right? And I'm just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, how can you honestly sit there as a parent and be like, I'm going to go into the interview to make sure you got the job, Yeah. And it's just like, no, like your kid has to learn to fail because that's the only way that they can bounce back and, grow character that way, essentially. I mean, of all the times that I've like had to been kicked in the nuts and, grow up from certain situations, it's just like, it's just like you got to learn like life is not easy for everybody and you cannot hold everybody's hand and show them the way.
Exactly. Exactly.
You have to make them learn.
We arguably learn even more through our failures than we do through our successes, especially at that young age. Because again, if we give them the tools they need to succeed and just let them succeed and fail on their own merits and on their own experiences, they are going to be better people for it.
No, exactly.
I mean, that's what makes humanity such a great species, is adversity makes us even stronger. We're like fucking Saiyans, man. We get beaten the fuck down. We learn from our mistakes. We come back up even stronger. That's how we've progressed as a species to be beyond, like we're even beyond apex predators at this point.
That and disposable thumbs, because let's be real here.
Opposable, not disposable. You don't want to dispose of your thumbs.
Well, soon enough, they'll be making human chimeras that have like the regenerative powers as lizards. So come on, think about it. You lose a limb.
Watching too much Spider-Man, son. But no, dude. Cool. Those Chinese pig monkey hybrids.
Yes.
Have you guys seen those?
Yes. I was just like, okay, so this is how we get orcs. The Chinese are going to become orcs now. Fantastic.
As if they already weren't. Oh, racism.
Come on. No, that's not fair. Not all of them are that bad. They just put a ban on foreign technologies and softwares for all the government programs.
I've got those articles for later, but if you want to bring this up.
Oh, sure. Yep.
What? Just the article, basically we're referencing 2 pig monkey chimeras born in Chinese organ growing experiment.
No, thank you.
Why are we letting China A, do this, and B, like being this leader? We've talked about how they're being leaders as far as developing cutting edge nuclear technology with lifter reactors, and now we're letting them, basically genetically engineer whatever the fuck they want because they're China and they don't answer to anybody. But these are the like. They look like pigs. They act like pigs, but they've got monkey DNA somewhere in there. Head of a pig, body of a pig, and pretty much all the other features of pig. But many of their internal organs include a small amount, less than 0.1% of macaque monkey cells. So, I mean, it's going to be really great for medical innovations, and it's going to get to the point where, as far as organs are concerned, it'll almost be like a post-scarcity world as far as organs are concerned, because we'll just fucking grow them. I mean, double-edged sword in that, people can afford to be a little bit more cavalier with their smoking and drinking. You can fuck up your liver at 30, get a pig monkey liver and replace it, And it, like I said, it'll become so advanced, it'll become so cheap and so easy to do to grow these things that it's almost post scarcity when it comes to that. So that's the good part. The bad part is we're with that and CRISPR, dude, we're going to have basically a subclass of human that are just basically flesh and blood automatons that are soldiers that answer only to, you know, the people in charge. That kind of shit scares me because that is a very likely reality when you're talking Chinese government involvement. I mean, they already have the sheer numbers of human beings, but if they start vat growing nipple necks, I hope someone gets that references. Space Above and Beyond. It was a late '90s sci-fi show that was fucking excellent.
Oh, I remember that show.
Yeah. They had vat grown what they called tanks, who were, you know, soldiers, pilots, etc. But yeah, it's just that kind of shit scares me, but it also it fills me with such wonderment that we just like, whoo, orcs. First come the orcs, then come the urukai, then come the oh fuck, we're all gonna die.
Actually, this is really interesting because I was following this a while back. Whenever the UN had that emergency meeting about sex robots and making laws about that shit,
Right.
ironically, they undid this law for human hybrid testing.
Yep.
Really?
So yeah, so like this is just like, of course, like this is China we're talking about that's doing the animals. Just give it about 5 to 10 years, and they'll be doing it up for human and animal testing. So like, it brings up like a lot of like philosophical, moral quandaries that I like really tend to think about sometimes. It's just like, well, it's also related back to that Star Trek episode whenever Data has to go to court to prove that he's like an individual.
Right.
You know, so like it brings up like, are we going to be creating something that's beneficial for humanity, or are we just going to, you know, like
basically create a new type of species
or a new
possibly sentient?
Yeah, or like a slave race, you know what I mean?
Yeah, second class of human being. You know, Star Trek has dealt with that a lot, like you know, even as something as recent as Voyager with holograms who become self-aware, which are basically just computer programs.
Yeah.
You know, and then they just have like a hollow representation of themselves, but he becomes self-aware, he becomes a member of the crew, and there's more than one occasion where it comes up to, you know, he has to assert the fact that he is grown beyond his programming and has become a sentient being. And I know we're talking more of in the now real world flesh and blood kind of stuff, but
yeah,
the message isn't lost.
No,
I mean, that's one of the great things about our science fiction is that it not only predicts the future, especially with Star Trek. Oh my God, it's eerie how accurate they are with their shit. But you know, the philosophical, like you said, the philosophical and ethical dilemmas that come with these kinds of things, and it gets you to think before it's even a possibility.
Mm-hmm. But then, which also puts me in a conundrum. Do I want to be augmented like a robot, or do I want to have animal parts put in me? You know.
Personally, I'd love to just have a quote unquote computer that could duplicate my brain waves and memories and just be basically a sentient computer program. Like, I would still die, but at the same time I would go on as a computer program, as a learning, working computer program in a you know, that sort of singularity where human and machine become one,
so
to sort of shed off that mortal coil.
So we found the one that wants to become the Borg.
You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
And besides that line, there is the worst pickup line ever. I got slapped a few times for that one.
I hope you weren't with the missus when that was going on. It's probably why
Oh,
you
no,
got
no, no.
slapped.
Oh no. There's just been a few times where I've used like cheesy pickup lines on her, ironically, whenever she's having like a really bad day, and then she just like, throws a pillow at me or whatever, and
Welcome,
she's,
Kettle.
she's looking at me right now, giving me the fingers and smiling. Love you too, honey bunny. So no, it's just like, okay, like, again, it's like the Full Metal Alchemist episode, you know. I don't want to get into any spoilers until still too soon, memes, but like it's just one of those things where do you draw the moral line in the sake of doing all this stuff?
For the sake of progress, yeah, it's something
Yeah,
we've been
exactly.
dealing with our entire history. Because, like I was saying, we're so advanced that sometimes we advance before we even think of these things. So we sort of have to play catch up socially. We see that with the tech giants now. You know, the connectivity we have has surpassed the social policies that are, ideally there to protect people and to make sure that things are done in a fair way, and the people aren't being taken advantage of. And that's why we see stories about people getting upset that, Facebook just collects your data and sells it, or social media. Like, guys, let's just dive into it with the YouTube stuff that's going on now and their change of policies, still being super, super vague about their policies. But then it's a really hard line kind of thing. You can lose a content creator can lose their channel for things that they said 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
They can lose it right now, right this very second, for something they said. And arbitrary. It's very arbitrary because, like I said, it's very, very vague in its wording. So they can apply that however they want. They can just get rid of everyone. And that is quite literally curating content. Sorry, your 230 protections are now out the fucking window. Why the politicians who are, quote unquote, on our side with these kinds of topics, why aren't they jumping on this right the fuck now and saying, whoa, hold up. So they're actually curating content. They're no longer protected by 230. Let's start acting on this shit. Let's get it going. Let's make this a free and open platform, because for all intents and purposes, YouTube is a monopoly. They're global powerhouse, and either they're going to succeed and do it fairly and under their own pretenses. They themselves say, this is where people can be heard, and it's like, well, your actions are not conforming to your speech. So I think we need action on that.
Yeah. I mean,
Jackie boy, how you doing, buddy?
All it would take is just one person with a lot of money to do like a really, really hard, like one of those frivolous lawsuits against YouTube.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's going to take a lot. And Alphabet
exactly.
Inc. They've got a fuck ton they've got unlimited money. Alphabet Inc. is the parent company of Google, and Google owns YouTube. Blah 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 blah. And exactly, Kettle. It's just for control, for power. That's why Google wants to hold on to YouTube, because even though it's not a money making venture for them, they're always in the negative. But there's that element of control. It's like you can't put a dollar amount on that. They have so much control over everything, all the information in the world. They have almost a complete lockdown on this information.
Yeah,
you can't put a dollar value on that kind of control.
No, exactly. But you can put a dollar amount on for the information, though. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, no, it's just really, really, really interesting whenever you
Hi,
sit
Jack.
back and you like look at the like bigger picture of things and just be
Hi,
like,
Kettle.
oh,
Sorry.
hi guys in the new chat there. This is my first time streaming, so you're all taking my cherry. So there's that.
Ooh.
So,
You're good. You're good. Just,
I know.
just go with it.
I'm just letting it happen. I lubed up before I joined in, so it's all good.
God damn it! I was just trying to roll a little J and I just spilt it all over.
Was that funny, huh?
No, it's these damn crippled hands. Sometimes I shake, so I can't.
Let's make masturbation really easy for you then.
It's not that bad. You know, one day I'll have the Parkinson's or the auto. What do you call it? Autopilot for the old cranker.
Yeah, or good for the scratchies. Those bingo scratchies.
I think I'm due to share one of mine, so I think I should.
Yeah, for sure. Bring it on.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
And so we're gonna do sheer just because might as well get him.
Ugh, I don't want to do sheer.
Sheer is stepping down.
at that
Leader of the
mug.
and I'm gonna read it like this because I think it's funny. But leader of the opposition, Andrew Scheer, is applauded by caucus members as he announces he will step down as leader of the Conservatives. Because you should have been Maxime. Sorry. Thursday, December 12th, 2019, in the House of Commons in Ottawa. I'm just saying, when an Alberta girl is cheering for a guy from Quebec, he was probably at least better than you. Sorry, Andrew. So Andrew is resigning as leader of the Conservative Party of Canada as soon as a new leader is chosen. Because this guy doesn't want to let go. Let's be real. He's sad that he wasn't liked. That's what happens when you do shady shit. Andrew. Anyway.
Any prediction? Oh, no, continue with the story. We'll talk about it after.
Sure. The word leaked out of Ottawa slowly Thursday morning. Slowly my ass. The Tory leader chose not to make a statement. Rather, top-level members of the party let it be known that Scheer would not... Top men. Members known that Scheer would not stay on to fight his automatic leadership review. Scheer has been under immense pressure to resign from factions within his own party, even before he went for the election. We said he wouldn't win. Social Conservatives felt he wasn't strong enough on issues like abortion during the campaign, while Red Tories felt he didn't go far enough to distance himself from those issues. I don't think that was the issue.
No, he was just a weak fucking leader, and like whenever we talk about the major political parties here, they're the same coin, and it's a double-headed coin. I mean, liberal, conservative, they're both just globalist corporatists, and Maxime is on record of saying, because I follow the fuck out of that man, I love that man as much as I can, like a politician. He said, no, like we've built something here. I'm seeing this through. It's the only true fiscally conservative party. And again, we're Canada, so even our conservatives are a little bit more towards the center, a little bit more liberal in their philosophy. We've talked about it before. I today would be considered, even though I'm a classic, Lockean liberal, I would be considered a conservative today in Canada. So, I roll with it. I still call myself a liberal, but I'll vote conservative because they're not the insane left. And just like our neighbors down south, the insane left is eating the Liberal Party.
Well, the other thing, too, is like when they bring up issues about abortion, and I'm sitting here like none of that was why we didn't really like Scheer. We didn't like Scheer because he did a lot of underhanded stuff.
He's just as corrupt as Trudeau, and he's weak.
That's what we saw. At least that's what I saw. I was like, I knew my province was going to vote for him, and it was really just to replace Trudeau. And I get that. I supported that part of it. But at the same time, I was like, we just bring him in so we can get rid of him. Like that was really it, because if we hadn't kicked out Maxime or like, and some of it was his fault, it is partially him too. But it was more on Andrew than anything else.
Who do you think might take up the mantle? I think the front runner right now is, oh God, what the fuck is his name? Peter MacKay. that would be a safe bet for them, because again, he's more. I mean, yes, he's still a corporatist. He's still somewhat of a globalist, but he's more reasonable than Scheer. He's got a little bit more sway than Scheer. It's really hard to tell who will win, because obviously politics, anything can happen. But I think, that would probably be a safe bet. McKay's been an established candidate, or well, not candidate, but an established conservative politician for a while now. Obviously, we could have someone crazy like a Premier Doug Ford from Ontario running for the leadership. Jason Kenney, Eric O'Toole, Lisa Raitt. Again, I think a front runner would be Peter MacKay. He kind of looks like a dull, boring Brit, almost like just a wider Jacob Rees-Mogg. for anybody who's familiar with UK personalities. And of course, we could always bring back old Harpo, which I would not like, because Harper's a fucking monster. But no, he's not. He's not as bad as people like to paint him, but he wasn't good at all. I don't personally like most of these candidates. I think Lisa might be a good pick. She checks off a couple of those, those imaginary boxes. Oh, look, she's a woman. Yes, but she's a white woman.
Blind girl's like, I loved Harper. You know what? I didn't hate Harper. It's just towards the end that he really burnt some bridges, he started off good and strong, so I don't dislike her. I don't know who Lisa is. Who is Lisa? I should know.
Lisa Raitt is the Conservative deputy leader. She had a disappointing leadership campaign the last time around, but she has been a more dominant figure in the party and in Ottawa since the last time she ran for the leadership. She's a little bit more peppy, a little bit more animated than Scheer is. Scheer is kind of like your milquetoast politician. It's kind of like that scene in The Simpsons. I'm Gary Johnson. I'm John Garrison or whatever, just a bland milquetoast politician. She's got a little bit more pep in her step, a little bit more animated in how she speaks and everything. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Conservative Party. I'm certainly not a fan of the Liberal Party. But I mean, when you're basically in a two-party system, you go with the lesser of two evils right now. At least that's my philosophy on how I vote. How I talk about and think about politics is way beyond partisanship. Like being fiscally more conservative, but still wanting and supporting those social safety nets, because they are net benefits to society as a whole. I think that might be the same article I was looking at earlier.
Yeah, it might be. Like, I didn't read the end part. It's all like,
Oh, wait, no, it's not.
He said he would stay on and fight the leadership review slated for April in Toronto, but his heart never seemed in the fight. And now he's bringing up, I'm the father of 5 children. And he was missing out on 2, like, these are excuses.
A smart thing for them to do, especially with what's going on, is hold that leadership debate and that leadership caucus and stuff. Hold that somewhere in the prairies. Go to your province, Jen, and hold it there. And show the people. I mean, yes, you're already blue. You're already conservative on the federal level. But to show the rest of Canada, hey, look over here. Shit's going on down here. It's pretty important. And the Conservative Party, if they want to score some extra points, we are bringing it here because this should be national attention. And we are going, unlike our red brethren, our fucking communist brethren in the Liberal Party, we are going to bring the attention here. We are going to work with Albertans and
Saskatchewans.
Yeah, Saskatchewans. I was like, Saskatoon? I was like, my brain was just having a fart right there. Actually, it was more like having a seizure. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's
And
kind
bring
of
that attention.
it's kind of one of those shames for Saskatchewan, because they were trying to play Sheer off like he was going to be their boy, and I think they were hoping that we would back them on it. And it's like Alberta would have no problems with backing, our brothers in Saskatchewan with a leader. It's just he wasn't the one. He was definitely not the guy. They knew it too, but there's still that. Well, he's our backyard guy. Why wouldn't we want somebody from our own province to be in charge? But like I said, when Alberta girl is telling you that the guy from Quebec was better.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Kenny's a good choice because of,
He's
like you were just
corporate.
saying, he's too corporate, and there's too many skeletons in the closet that would completely ruin him on the national stage.
And to be honest, he comes across like he doesn't really want to fix the issue. Like everything he's saying, he's doing out of desperation. And the thing is it comes across as very fake, because when he started he started out with the same slogan that a lot of conservatives start out with: we're gonna fix the system. We're gonna fix the system. And they think that we don't catch on to it anymore. And it's like, no, buddy, we are at the point. If we're talking about separation, that means we're desperate. That means that we are at the point where we're so tired of that not getting done that we don't know what else to do. When your only other choice is to look south and be like, listen, you know what? You joining the U.S. would cause just as many problems, but maybe we could make a better deal because at least we're starting somewhere with them. Whereas with Canada, we feel like we started something and we can't change anything that we've started. And that's the problem. And that's been the biggest problem. And so Andrew lost on that one because yet again, he didn't do it. And Stephen lost on it because, well, he had more than enough time to do it and he didn't do it. And then when he did start to do it, he did it in a shady manner. And then with Jason, it's the same thing. And it's like, you guys have to understand, we've been going through this since the 70s. Generation after generation has been looking at Ottawa and saying, okay, when can the rest of Canada have a fair shake? And I'm not just saying Alberta. As an Alberta,
but every province, like we've talked to at length,
yes,
have fair representation on the Senate level. Yeah. And then, or the House, I always get them mixed up. And then the House level being representative of the populations. Yeah, because then on national issues, each province can have a fair say in how we should head as a nation, because we are a nation of provinces. They're, just like in the States, that we have states' rights, we have provincial rights, and they are the ones charged with governing the territory, whereas the federal government should be in practice dealing with federal issues, not with the provincial issues, not with dealing with education and all this shit. This is why you exist, federal government, to take our tax money, redistribute it along the provinces, and then the provinces enact the policies and everything and make things run. It's
I just want to point out the fact that Sheer reminds me of Mr. Horseman from Ren and Stimpy. And any interview that I've seen in him, it's just like, well, are you okay with today's problems? Nope. Are you going to do anything to fix them? Yes.
Exactly.
Like, seriously. But
then again, part of the great thing about our information age is, people haven't really gotten smarter, but we're connect, like on an average, but we're connected better than we've ever been. So this information can be disseminated, both positive and negative for a political figure. And we as a society can come together, and generally, more often than not, it just devolves into shit flinging online. But sometimes you have good conversations, especially like when you have live streams like this, live streams like other people are doing, where we sit down and we actually talk about shit. Because I don't know how Newfoundlands, Jen, I know you're a conservative. I'm a liberal. A lot of the people the same circles we hang around in, very conservative, but I fit with them because we're willing to come to the table and talk about things. We may disagree with how we get to objective A, B, and C, but at least we both see objective A, B, and C as sort of our final destination.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, even as a conservative, I probably lean a little bit more on the middle. You know, I'm kind of more of that guy who's just like, I really argue with a lot of Albertans about the whole like, let's hate Quebec all the time thing. And the reason that I do that is because I don't want Alberta to become the new Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
I'd really
well, they're
like
French. They make it so easy.
You know, and they do. I mean,
Yeah, they
don't get me
do.
wrong. All of Canada
really
makes
do.
fun of them and takes the piss out of them, and they should.
And thanks for coming, Kettle Valley.
Just like we should take the piss out of everybody. But I don't want to get to that bitter point where everything wrong in your life is because of Quebec, and it's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. A lot of it is. They have their fair fingers in everybody's pie that's pissing everybody off, but they are not the reason your life is completely shit. There's a lot of factors there. It's not just Quebec, and that's the thing that I'm frustrated with on our end. It's like, okay, listen,
Sexually frustrated.
kick them in the balls
Damn, Quebec.
every chance we have for everything that they have done. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm,
Absolutely, because they deserve it. They deserve a spanking at this point because they're being.
Ooh.
They are not being. They have never really been a part of.
Spanking, you say?
A spanking, I
know,
say,
right?
because you know what? They haven't been a team player since the get-go.
Yeah.
And it's because they aren't a team player and they want to dictate the rest of Canada what we want to do. And we're just like, no, you cannot have that. I appreciate your culture. I even adore their culture. I think it's cute. I like the old history. You know, I appreciate that the English did some shitty things to them. Guess what, Quebec? I'm not English.
We're Canadian.
Yeah.
I'm not British.
I do
we
agree
we
with
can't
that.
go
The
back
Chinese
and
are
fix
really
what has happened,
British.
but we can come together and move forward, and that's what we have had. We've experienced partisan politics like anybody else,
Yep.
but I think with the influence of, again, kind of the double-edged sword of living in this information age, we've
I just
been
lost,
sort
like,
of
3 people.
influenced. No, but I mean, just on the political level, we've been influenced a lot by American politics and become even more partisan. And I don't think that that's a good thing. Because like I said, like most of the people I talk to, conservatives, and myself, a liberal, we can come together and talk about things because we're rational. We want the same objectives. Fuck partisanship. It's so.
Yeah, that's basically my declaration most of the time. It's just, I would absolutely adore to have Quebec be on hand, because the thing is, I have a lot of respect for their intelligence. Like, sometimes they do things in goofy ways, but I don't have an opposition to people who look at things differently. Because if you have a team of intelligent people who look at things from different angles, chances are good you can improve your technology really good doing it. I want to bring in those minds. I want to bring in that different way of looking at things,
Sure, yeah.
It's just to meet at a middle ground. Like, I'll try to work better on my English if I know that the Quebec will try and meet me halfway. But they haven't. They never have. And that's what I'm hoping from Maxime, that he will somehow get it into them that, like, we don't actually hate them. We would just like to be able to hold a proper conversation.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I mean, when you get down to brass tacks and actually do the reading and the research into Maxime's platform, he is a very center right figure, conservative figure. But again, he's that type of person who will come to the table with liberals, with the opposition, and try to get things done, and not just be all about the partisan power plays. I genuinely believe he's trying to be a more genuine politician, and as such, be a civil servant. He's still a politician. He's still a powerful politician. So, he's going to be, he likes the system as it is, and he wants to work the system as it is, but he wants to be that more conservative voice financially, while still being Canadian. And like I said, just like how we have here in the UK, our distant cousins, even though they're conservative, they're less right-leaning than, say, in America, where they're very polarized. They're, they do have conservative values, and they do bring the conservative lens to a lot of things, but they are a little bit more closer to center because they do like the NHS, just like we like our healthcare. There are things like that. They're willing to just leave abortion alone for the most part, and not like go hyper right and just sort of ban it. And even then, I have a problem with calling it a right left leaning issue, because that's what our politics has devolved to, in that whichever topic a party can kind of sink its claws into first and claim as their own, then becomes a right or left issue, even though it really has not a lot to do with left or right. I know just as many right-leaning people as I do left-leaning people who are against abortion in most cases. So
and
it's
see,
whatever.
that's the problem that I have, is like all these partisan views, and it's just
I
like
know.
this is why I think politics is more so a theatrical thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the more dramatic you are,
Well, like I said, like, you know, the newspaper's trying to pin it on, you know, Andrew Scheer stepping down, and, you know, oh, it's because he couldn't sway the right on the abortion thing because he wasn't strong enough. And I'm like, no, I'm
that
pretty
was a misnomer. Like, he never really brought it up. He had other better things to deal with than the abortion issue,
well,
you know,
yeah,
like the weirdest things like that
because
they
it's a
got up.
non-issue,
It is a non-issue.
100%.
especially in Canada.
100%,
Like,
yeah.
you know, in most cases, I mean, yes, there is some abuse, but in most cases, it's fine.
You know,
And funny you should
long as
ask,
the women-
Rando.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
I have to run and pull a blood wing on you, but you inform
Okay.
Rando on what's going on in the world, because he
No
needs
problem,
to know.
Jen. you do you, boo.
I will.
You know,
Shake it
Rando, it's funny you should ask that, because we're talking politics and we're shifting across the pond over to what's going on in the UK today. And Boris Johnson, the fucking madman of Britain, you know, called this election several months ago to just sort of solidify their legitimacy in power. And here we have an article from The Guardian from today, not too long ago, predicting that the exit poll is predicting an 86-seat Tory Conservative landslide majority. You can see the graphic here. You know, it's pretty. These are polls. They are a little bit more accurate than your typical, you know, North American polls that we get. And you know, from what I've been learning the last couple of years about their political system, this looks about right. With how things have been going with the Labour, Scottish National Party, Brexit Party, and all that, or Brexit, not the Brexit Party itself. This does look about right, because people are fucking sick of Jeremy Corbyn. You know, fuck, I forget the tagline of you know, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the Jew. Corbyn is an outspoken anti-Semite, so that's going to kill your party.
Yeah.
And he's also a huge douchebag and a huge asshole and fucking retarded.
I mean, the guy
He's
looks like a
basically
hairy
Bernie
scrotum.
Sanders with actual power.
Yeah, the guy looks like a hairy scrotum anyway, so which is amazing on how, you know, he
Mm.
sells himself.
And he,
So-
I watch, you know, Moisky, Omegon, Sargon, all these Brits talk about this stuff,
Yeah.
and I watch some of the House of Commons streams online, you know, through the BBC, and he just gets schooled all the time in Parliament.
Mhm.
Like, he'll bring something up and people will just bitch slap him with their fucking 2-foot cock across the face, and he'll just look like a dejected mouse, just like cowering in his corner next to David Lammy. You know,
Yeah, we haven't seen cops in this area forever, and then there's a cop right behind him, like fucking
well, you know,
brilliant.
people like Sadiq Khan, you know, do away with stop and frisk, whereas, you know, and these kinds of things. Whereas Bojo, when he was mayor of London, they had, you know, stop and search type laws on the books and policies on the books, and it actually worked. They take that away, and sure enough, knife crime becomes, you know, stabbings become an actual problem.
Mhm.
Like, stabbings skyrocketed. Like, people don't seem to, you know, we don't get a lot of it in the news, but it has skyrocketed. It's kind of like gun violence in Toronto. You know, these things just come out of nowhere because we do away with policies that fucking work. Look at the evidence. Look at the statistics. Things like stop and frisk work because you have certain groups of people. And no, it's not really based on your skin color, but more your disposition in life. And if you look like a gangsta and you act like a gangsta in public, you know what? Sure enough, statistically, you are going to be the type of person that's going to be walking around with a weapon on you.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, sometimes you can get bigoted people because these police are, at the end of the day, like we've said in previous streams, they're just people and they will have their own biases, but overall the policy works. So in the cases like, you know, stop and frisk, the results outweigh the negatives, because the results overall are a net positive and people are safer. We don't have fucking terrorists out on furlough stabbing a bunch of people. And it's been said, you know, a knife is a lot more dangerous in an urban setting than a gun, because you can hurt, maim, and kill a lot more people in a crowded area before anyone realizes what's going on, as opposed to a gun. Because if you hear that gunshot, people are running. People are taking off. They're going away from the noise.
Yeah.
And you can get a few people with a gun. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if you get a knife and you're walking through a crowd and just, I hate to use this term, but being smart about how you're being an asshole and stabbing a bunch of people, you can shank a bunch of people and slip away into the crowd and keep doing damage, and no one will know because it's basically silent. And I don't know if anybody's been stabbed. I have, not severely, but it takes a minute for your body to sort of register.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the middle of a fight, so I had adrenaline going. I didn't really notice until there was that warm feeling somewhere. Noticed I got a little slash on my side, and sure enough, you know, I got a little nick and I was bleeding, but it wasn't serious, and things still were going on. But yeah, it's just our excuse me, the poll results are going to start trickling in as of like 10 minutes ago, so I'll try to keep on top of that while we're going on with things. But best of luck, our British cousins, and hopefully you know, this.
Well, hopefully that they can get their shit into one sock and figure out whatever's going on over there finally. You know.
Jen back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I've been here the entire time. I was like,
You were just being quiet.
Yeah, I thought I lost you guys, so I was just like, what? Why'd it go quiet all of a sudden? You know? Yeah, no, it's again, it's all political theatrics to me. So
Yeah. They have their own characters across the pond, like oh god, what the hell is that cunt's name? Joe, I want to say Joe Swinson.
Joseph Stalin?
No, she's the cunt. She's the bitch that Sargon wouldn't even rape.
Oh yeah.
Jess Phillips. And she
yeah.
basically is on record, on video, at one of her little political stops, saying that, you know, for people to have rights, other people have to lose rights. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no.
Are you channeling your inner Hitler?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's not what we mean by rights. Everybody has their rights. And yes, we can get into nitty-gritty discussions of, you know, things like men's rights as far as family court, or women's rights as far as I don't know right now, because they have so many more rights than men do in most Western nations. It's that pendulum we keep talking about. It's swinging one direction too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Joe Swinson is that moron from the Lib Dems. She's the leader of the Lib Dems. As somebody who's trying to keep his main focus on his own backyard politics while keeping informed of American politics, and again in recent years keeping up with the our cousins over in the UK, the names kind of matter less because I'm just trying to think where parties are going, what's being said, and there's so many different figures, and we're so connected. It's hard to keep the names straight, especially when you have, Jess Phillips and Joe Swinson, who are both just British cunts. Yeah, Rando, in some cases, not to get too much into it, but yeah, there are cases to say, actually, it's time for maybe a little bit of a look at what rights now that your basic, I hate to, just use the term, but basic white male no longer has compared to other people. We think about the YouTube thing, and first thing in my mind is, oh, so the YouTube thing is basically covering everybody but white men, because that's the only air quotes here, non-protected class.
I feel personally attacked right now coming from you.
Well, I am a half white man.
Yeah, but see, you're also Jewish, so you're covered on every single basis regardless. So.
Excuse me.
Although I could get away with the fact that I'm French native.
Oh.
So I
kid.
No, of course. But then I can be racist all I want if I really want.
Oh yeah, totally. Last night on Monkey in the Morning, I gave Monkey a Jew pass. He's good. He's solid. It's all pre-scripted.
That's like the other week. I got my black card from one of my coworkers, and I'm just like, still not gonna drop that word. Regardless, I love and respect you too much to go that far.
Yeah, and like I was saying,
I want to know, what would you change for men's rights? Honestly,
without getting too much into it, just basically making family court a more equitable system for both men and women, and basing it on the facts, not your giggly bits. So have an audit of the officials in the, judges in family courts, audit them. Anyone found being bias against somebody, it can go either way. They can either be, statistically, they're more biased against men, but there can be ones that might be biased against women. I don't know. We'd have to have that audit, and anyone found guilty of that would be replaced. And we would look at the data, like who can make the better case, again, discounting their giggly bits, who can make the better case for being, for whatever is the topic being discussed in that specific court case, of who is the more fit parent, or if they're equal, treat them as such, and make sure that the child gets equal time between the parents if they can't come to some sort of agreement. Because yes, most of the time the parents just keep it out of court and have an agreement. The one parent will get the kid part-time and the other parent will get the other. I have friends who've gone through messy divorces who have, been adults about it, not had to take it to court, and, have equal sharing of the kids and the responsibility and all that. And, if one needs to go travel for work or wants to go on vacation or whatever, there's that, coming together and saying, hey, I'm not going to be around for 2 weeks. Can you take care of the kids for the next 2 weeks? And, maybe I'll do a little bit more for the 2 weeks when I come back, sort of thing. And most of the time, parents are really good about that. It's having to rely on the court for when the parents are just so, at each other's fucking throats, that the courts need to step in, and that's why they should be there. It shouldn't be, like we were talking about abortion, it shouldn't be your birth control. The courts shouldn't be your default when it comes to family issues. The default should be, coming together and doing what's best for the child. But if that can't happen, then you rely on the courts to step in and be a neutral third party to arbitrate fairly for all parties concerned. And of course, the only protected class that we should have in Western society, and no air quotes, the literal only protected class that we should have, are children. because like we were saying before, Jen, this is what we need to be for children. We need to teach them not only how to think and how to both succeed and fail, and how to deal with success and failure in life, but to just give them the tools to go out there. We need to be able to also at the same time protect them from adults, basically, whether it's pedos or two parents who can't get along. We're going extremes here, and everything in between. We as a society need to be there to protect children because they can't protect themselves.
That's very true. I know some friends that have lived out on the streets per se, so they had to learn pretty quickly how to defend themselves because their parents were either alcoholics or just workaholics, essentially. So, they were given gifts as a means of replacement for love, but at the same time, does have resounding effects on a person as they grow up. As they go into adulthood. Like Elwin was saying about abortion, I would argue for the fact that the court would have to get involved with it if the parties could not come to an agreement. Like basically, so like just for the scenario's sake, she wants to have the abortion, but he wants to keep it. So in that case, I would I'm like myself. I personally believe it's the woman's body. She gets to do whatever she wants to it, right? Like she can get the abortion, just whatever. But like in this case here, it would be a very tricky court case to figure out what to do about it. But then
and there's so many different, there's so much minutia and different factors that would play into it, like how far along in the pregnancy. But exactly. I tend to agree with you that basically when it comes to something like that, the potential father has no rights. Has zero say. And that's something that I would like to change and not say that they have control over the woman's body or her individual rights per se, but would have a voice.
No,
I guess that's all I'm asking for, is just having a voice, and we don't even have that right now.
Yeah, it's just really frustrating to me. Like I know some
and
guys...
sorry, but before we continue, Noof, is there any way you can speak up a little bit louder, or maybe turn your outbound in Windows up a little bit?
Just give me a second. I'll screw around with it.
You can do that while you're making your point.
Yeah. No, it's just really, really frustrating because I know some really I've worked with a lot of really cool guys, and they got screwed over for through the court system because they just want to be good parents to their kids, right?
Yeah.
We're
hardwired to be a provider, the hunter-gatherer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And most men, there are assholes out there, but most men just want to be a provider and a parent to their sons and daughters.
Yeah, exactly.
And have a voice in such matters as abortion and child rearing and such, if they so choose.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, ultimately at the end of the day, we have to stop just immediately running to the authority and saying, cry foul, oh my God, the sky's falling kind of thing, and try to sit down first as adults and talk it out and try to come to some sort of amicable resolution before you go to the courts. And your last resort should be going through the legal system if you can't come to some kind of base compromise.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, no.
So,
sorry, I agree with you on that. If we actually sat down and have proper conversations about this stuff with kids nowadays, it would actually be more sane than just you see on Twitter, where it's just these kids are going off about oh, I got a white iPhone instead of a black iPhone. I hate my parents.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Really? Whenever I was that young, I was happy to get a freaking shovel. Because I was because I would be in my backyard building up a snowbank so I could pretend that I was living in an igloo or whatever. You know?
Oh yeah. I'm right there with you on that.
Yeah, man.
Guys, the shit us Canadians do for fun and during the winter, yeah, especially as kids.
Oh yeah. Digging out like snow tunnels and these giant snow banks from all the
Oh, yeah.
cul-de-sacs and stuff like that. Yeah, man.
That shit is fun.
Yeah.
You got anything to bring up, Jenny?
Nope, but I got yours.
All right. So an update on what's been going on with the religious symbols ban over in Quebec. The appeals court won't suspend the province's religious symbols ban.
Nope.
And good, because not only am I in favor of provincial rights and the right for the province to self-determine in matters such as this, I may not totally agree with an overall ban, but I understand the not necessity, but the actions behind it and the reasons behind it, and I support their decision.
It's kind of good for that group of people to see people actually put their foot down about something. I know it's mean, but sometimes just having them be like, oh, I guess some people can say no to stuff when we whine about it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Quebec's top court has refused to suspend the province's controversial ban on religious symbols, even while acknowledging it causes irreparable harm to those affected. The Court of Appeal was ruling on a request to stay sections of the Laicity Act, or Bill 21, pending a ruling on its constitutionality. In a 2-1 decision issued Thursday afternoon, the court said the law should be allowed to stand while courts work out whether the law violates the Constitution. The decision doesn't affect the 4 separate lawsuits filed against Bill 21, claiming the law is unconstitutional. The Laicity Act was passed in June. It bans public school teachers, government lawyers, police officers, basically any kind of government official from wearing religious symbols while at work, and only while at work. So, as we said in previous streams when we first started covering this topic, good. You're a public figure, you're a public employee, you make some concessions as a representative of the government position that you hold and the representative of the government, and you hold your religious stuff at the door, and sure, yeah, cool.
You hungry?
I mean, I agree with that statement. I mean, we all know that the spaghetti monster is the one true God, but
Oh,
But
have
I
I not
agree
told
with
you
them.
about our Lord and Savior, the Almighty Rutabaga?
Ah.
Ooh. You have
Well, my
interest.
son, the day is coming when the Almighty Rutabaga will come, shed its mortal coil, and bring us all to the promised land and transcendence into pure energy. All hail the great Rutabaga.
I see.
The bigger question is,
Yes.
will there be cheesecake?
I don't believe so, because dairy is disgusting. Eating the lactations of another animal just doesn't sit right with this boy. Not only am I highly allergic to dairy, cow dairy, just the notion of it is kind of gross to me. I don't know. Even cooking, being a former chef, recipes that would typically call for, milk in them or whatever. I found ways to get around it and do things differently, a little bit differently. Cheese less so, because, I mean, let's face it, cheese is just bacteria poop. But it, on a medical level, it affects me less. But just the idea that you're drinking, all I can think of is from Star Wars, Luke milking the sea creature, penguin, walrus, bird thing, and then just drinking it. It's like, that's what you pretty much do with cows. So it's weird to me. I don't know.
No, that's fair. I'm
not saying nobody else can eat it. I just, personally on that personal level.
No, which is fine and fair. I'm just one of those guys. I'm a connoisseur of food. It's always been like a comfort thing for me because of my outlandish life.
Right,
So,
right. And nothing brings
she's-
together people like food, you know.
Oh, of course,
That's
of
why
course.
we colloquially call, coming to the table with someone breaking bread, is because traditionally that's exactly what happened. You would invite your enemies to sit down, break bread, and try to find common ground before you came to blows or came to war. You're literally breaking bread with someone. And yeah, even today we can draw from that and come to the table and have, the proverbial meal and discuss topics.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, it's very, very, very true. Or in my case, being from the East Coast, anybody that has had hard bread before literally knows that breaking the bread is really hard sometimes.
Oh yeah, it definitely can be.
Yeah. Oh,
On to the
yeah,
next
good.
article.
You got one for me, do you? All right. Sorry,
China orders ban on all foreign hardware and software for government PCs. The country has 3 years to purge 20 to 30 million PCs of Western hardware and likely even OSs like Windows.
Huh.
According to a report from the Financial Times, the Chinese government has ordered a total ban on all foreign PC hardware and operating systems in government computers. That includes graphics cards, processors from places like NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, etc., operating systems from Microsoft and Apple, among many other US and European-based PC hardware software manufacturers. Can we just get a big fuck China? Like seriously, fuck their government. We need to have a modern day Hiroshima for these assholes. Let's just bomb their fucking imperial palace and just kill them all. I'm only somewhat being hyperbolic, but seriously, we need to nip this in the bud before it becomes an actual physical violent problem for the rest of the world. I mean, it already is starting to become it already is a violent problem. Look at the fucking Muslims in their own country. Look at how they're fucking taking over Hong Kong. For all intents and purposes, a democratic nation. And for the most part, the Western world is just sitting back going, meh. Britain, you guys are fucking complicit in this. You let Hong Kong go back to China. I would have been, if I was Bojo or whoever's in charge, I would say, you know what? Sorry. We're going to keep a military presence there. We're going to step away from the government, but we're going to protect their rights to be a sovereign fucking nation. Because they are on track to being a first world nation, an economic like an economic stable. They obviously they're not big enough to be a massive global powerhouse, but just on a basic fundamental human rights level, protect them. Don't just fucking shirk them off and be like, sorry, wiping our hands clean of you guys. It's like, these are human fucking people. And in that region, basically, because you can see it in the fucking protests. They are the West's greatest ally in the region. One of our best allies, because they value the American Western way of life. Liberty and justice for all. Come on, fucking people. Let's fucking help these people. Sorry, this topic, it really gets me livid because I see an entire country that's about to be, well, it's being attacked, but it's about to be absorbed by one of the greatest evils as far as the global stage right now. People want to talk about, the Middle East or North Korea or whatever. Fuck all that shit. China!
They do make some good food, though. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Like I said, as a chef, my specialties were, Chinese, mostly Asian, Chinese, Japanese, Thai. I was learning a lot of Filipino in my last few years.
Nice.
It was that was my shtick. Like that was where I gravitated. I did a lot of other stuff, obviously, but that was, my biggest passion is Asian food. And I've even cooked for Asian Canadian people who, that's their cuisine. And they were like, wow, this is not like our traditional style, but it's got those flavors, just sort of more with a Canadian twist and a more modern presentation to it in the orchestration of the dish. But it's still got those roots of their childhood, their culture, and they said it was really good. So I mean, I couldn't ask for a better compliment.
Yeah, well, that's really good, and good on you for accomplishing that, because like how many chefs out there really chase after a goal like that and never really reach it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. China. Yeah, Arms Killer, but they were only supposed to have them. No, you mean the UK was only supposed to have them for 99 years. But with the way that China has been in the last couple decades, they could have, withdrawn and let them be a sovereign nation, but still have that open hand and saying, hey, China over here, they're gonna try to fucking take you over. They're obviously, we can see it happening, violating basic human rights. Debatably, obviously they don't own Hong Kong yet, but say, hey, if you need us, we can be there to help protect you. Like, we're talking on a military level, have a presence and saying, look, if you're going to attack Hong Kong, that means you're also attacking a quote unquote ally in, let's just say, the US. So if you attack Hong Kong, you're attacking the US, and China don't want none of that. Not yet. They don't want to engage in a military conflict with the United States. First of all, it would be World War III. Second of all, they wouldn't be able to win just yet. So that's why they're incorporating themselves into Western cultures around the world. To from our local level in Canada, Chinese corporations and business interests who are owned by the Chinese government are buying parts of Canada, swaths of Canada, like big chunks of Canada, property, businesses, homes. So they're being more insidious in how they're influencing through politics, money, and social media. How they're influencing things is dangerous, because I don't want China owning bits of Canada. This is Canada for Canadians, not Canada for fucking China.
Well, it's called Vancouver for a reason. But
yeah.
I mean,
Well, I mean, even here in Toronto with the condos constantly going up. A lot of them, I think it's like a 60-70% ownership rate, are owned by mostly Asian business interests, and of that, mostly China. Arms Color. Yeah, I would say of my experiences with them, I would say Japanese. Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. It's not just sushi. So it's not the Narmoose or the Moo Wall, the Narwhal Moose hybrid, but Moose Poacher gets lifetime hunting ban, jail term, and a $54,000 fine.
That's deep.
Operation Meat Bag. Best. Fuck. Hey, Noof, want to start a band?
Meatbag.
Operation Meatbag. Operation Meatbag nets 6 offenders, $108,000 in fines for poaching-related convictions. A Neguac man was sentenced to 156 days in jail, fined $54,500 Canadian, so monopoly money, and banned for life from hunting in New Brunswick after a 9-month investigation known as Operation Meatbag. Oh my god, that's just too delicious. Oh my god. And not moose meat's delicious, but oh my god, that title, Operation Meatbag. Ah. The provincial government announced Monday. Sorry?
The more you read the story, the more metal it gets.
Right. Gilles Alain pleaded guilty to 27 violations of the Fish and Wildlife Act, 12 counts of hunting moose out of season, 7 counts of offering moose meat for sale, 4 counts of illegally possessing moose meat, and 4 counts of possessing moose meat without a cold storage permit. It's heavily regulated. For those that don't know, game meats like moose are heavily regulated, that you have to hunt it in season, you can't overhunt it, etc., etc. And in a lot of cases, you cannot sell it commercially. So this guy did a lot of no-nos, and it's so we can protect the species from getting overhunted. And like I've been saying, we have to impose ourselves as humans to make sure that there's a balance and that we really don't lose any more species. If we can help it, to just sort of let them keep going, and whether or not they fizzle out and die naturally is one thing, but so that our impact on the environment and their respective biomes don't make the species go extinct. So basically making sure that we're not responsible for them going extinct, that if they just went the way of the dodo and were just a candidate for Darwin Awards and just poofing away naturally is one thing, but for our direct Mustafa, how's it going, buddy? You want some moose meat? Shall I tell you about Operation Meatbag? With our new single coming out early 2020. The Narmoose or Moo Wall was a creation of my own that was an amalgam of a moose and a narwhal because of the latest stabbing that was in national news in London, on London Bridge. How the guy came at the attacker with a narwhal tusk.
Yeah, that was pretty badass. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah. One really bad guy with a knife was taken down by a couple guys, one of which was also a bad guy with a weapon, who was also on furlough, but stopped the bad guy. So, I believe that the for the most part, for most cases, the prison system, the legal system, should be a system of rehabilitation, not really retribution. Because we can't keep treating all of society with kid gloves and protecting everybody from the worst parts of society, and in doing so imposing on the rest of society's rights. Unlike Jess Phillips, who thinks that we should take away people's rights or George Bush, who think we should take people's rights for individual safety. There is a fine line, and I'm open to debate on that kind of stuff. It's just let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater and just pretend like our individual rights don't matter. I think that those are the ultimate rights that matter more than anything. But we can give concessions for the greater good, for public safety. Just not give up all of our rights for all of our personal rights and freedoms just in the name of safety. Because at the end of the day, I'm a Lockean liberal. I believe in the rights of the individual. You should and damn well better have the right to defend yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you on that one.
Yeah, you can't rely on the police all the time, especially if you don't live in a major metropolitan area. The response time just isn't there. You can be dead in the blink of an eye. The police can't stop that. You can stop that. This is what I say to women. It's not that, when it comes to rape, it's not, no, don't. Yes, obviously teach people, not just men,
rape is bad. You shouldn't rape people. But the onus isn't specific solely on men to not rape people. There are going to be bad people out there. You, as a woman who on average is physically weaker than your average man, should learn how to defend yourself. Should, I'm not going to go all the way out there and say, oh, well, how are you dressed? But at the same time, yeah, maybe you should,
I mean, pants myself, but whatever.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't be walking through, bad neighborhoods, statistically bad neighborhoods, wearing a very skimpy outfit in the middle of the night, early morning, and not expect something bad to happen to you. You're dangling that steak in front of the lions and saying, no. Have some personal accountability, personal responsibility. Take stock of your surroundings and try your best to defend yourself. I'm not saying that the onus is completely on you as the individual. Like I said, there are bad people out there. We ultimately can't stop all the bad things from happening, but try to do your best to do what you can on as an individual to ensure that you're as safe as you can be. Because ultimately, the end of the day, we do live in the Western world in the safest, most comfortable points in human history for us. We're safer now more than ever. We hear about these stories because we're connected. We're connected faster and more globally than ever before. So we'll see more of these stories, but physical crimes, violent crimes are on a huge slump. We're safer now than ever. We're only getting safer in most cases, which is good because we bringing it back full circle to things like stop and frisk. These kinds of policies statistically work, and they work for a reason because we're not idiots. We can tell who is more likely to be a bad person. Your gangbangers, regardless of what color your skin is or what ethnicity you are. If you look and act a certain way, there's a chance that you are going to be a certain way. Drinking your lean and your zizzurp.
Yeah, and this is why I always dress to look like a homeless person, because nobody wants to rob a homeless person.
Yeah. No, exactly, Elwin. There are no. I'm not saying that everyone can be rehabilitated. I mean that the system should primarily be there to A, keep dangerous people off the street, and B, try to rehabilitate them. And that's why we have parole panels, independent parole hearings and panels, so that they can get as much of an objective view of the offender as possible and see if they're rehabilitated. And some cases, pedos, terrorists, no, I don't really. I think we should be harsher on because they are very severe crimes. Again, only protected class we should have are children. And when you're a pedo, you're basically saying fuck you to everything that Western society stands for. And you should be locked up, thrown away without a key, and without some really compelling evidence of, therapy, drug regimens, and, like whether or not that's chemical castration or what have you. Maybe a small percentage can be rehabilitated.
I think we should really start bringing back lobotomies. But
Yeah.
That's just me.
Well, we kind of do through drug regimens, right? We pacify people through chemical means rather than surgical. And good. I mean, I'm glad that we have the means to at least try to bring people who are suffering. At the end of the day, there's something fundamentally wrong with these people, whether or not they're a pedo, whether or not it's the New Jersey shooters or any of the big, mass shooters, what have you, the Greta Thunbergs. There's, you like how I slipped that in there. There's fundamentally something wrong upstairs that needs to be addressed that we need to research and do better with, because these people are sick. That doesn't absolve them of their crimes, but it's at least a way of starting to fully understand what's going on with these kinds of people and actually leading us to some sort of resolution. Because banning guns isn't going to happen. Look at England, right?
Well, yeah,
banning
they just replaced it with knives at this point now.
Well, with whatever they can get their hands on.
Yeah.
Trucks of peace, screwdrivers of peace, kitchen knives of peace. Like, bad people are going to do bad things. It's all about harm reduction, harm prevention, without stepping on fundamental human rights.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's pretty reasonable. 100%.
So since I brought up insanity and dropped the G word, Trump attacks Greta Thunberg for being Times Person of the Year. No, it's not an attack. See, this is why I believe that, because how I was taught, people need art education. An education of art history, art education, because I was taught in my art education, that what the difference between a critique and, something just being more mean-spirited, like, an actual attack on what you did. There's a critique and saying, coming and saying, well, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong for these reasons, and being, objective about it, and not being a petty little bitch like apparently, USA Today, the New York Times, and all this shit are being. I'm going to play it without the sound while we're talking, because it's all stuff that pretty much everybody's been talking about for the last little while. This multi-millionaire Greta Thunberg with her how dare you, and I should be in school. Kind of forgot where I was going with that, but I kind of have a little bit of he didn't attack her. Look at the fucking hate she had, crossing her arms, just staring him down. She and her supporters seem to be the ones full of hate here, not Donald Trump. It's sort of like the Rapinoe thing, where Trump said, best of luck to you, Miss Rapinoe. When she turns around and says, oh, Trump attacked me, oh my God. And Bernie Sanders is like, oh, Trump is attacking Greta. Trump is, orange man bad. Fuck off. You're demonstrably wrong. You are hateful, small individuals. I hope you fucking get run over by a fucking truck. And not because of your policies, which I disagree with, and would be more than happy to, if there's a Bernie supporter out there who wants to debate me on these kinds of things, I'm more than happy to sit down with you and talk about the issues and debate, our perspectives on them. But when you come at things like this with just such hate and misinformation, no, fuck you. You deserve nothing less than death, because you are a waste of fucking space. Sorry, that was just scripted. And a bit hyperbolic, but at the same time, yeah, just go away. Go away.
Give it about another 3 months and she'll fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Like most child stars.
Yeah. Being so young and in the spotlight has damaged so many people more often than not. And we're not really doing anything about it. Again, they're a protected class. Sorry, 1 sec. And throwing them into the limelight like that at such a young age is very damaging, because they haven't learned the lessons that, again, I've been preaching about. We need to teach them how to think and how to handle things in the world, not what to think and what to do to handle them. They need to sink and swim on their own merits. That's how they're going to be a fully fleshed out, rational human being. But President, I'm going to do a silly voice because this is just so stupid.
President Donald Trump attacked 16-year-old environmental activist Greta Thunberg on Thursday for being named Time Magazine's Person of the Year. By the way, called it. I don't remember who. I think it was P Dog was like, we were talking about this a couple months ago or a month ago. Oh, it'll be Juicy Smoulier, and I'm like, no, dude, Greta, hands down. Time Magazine is that much of a shit rag that it'll be Greta. Trump's comments, so ridiculous, Trump said on Twitter. Greta must work on her anger management problem, then go to a good old-fashioned movie with a friend. Chill, Greta, chill. Oh no! Oh my God, won't somebody think of the children? He's a monster, I tell you, he's a monster.
That's more like a high school jab, if anything.
Yeah. He told her to just chill. He's telling her what we're telling her. Go be a fucking kid.
Go play in the mud, eat some worms, whatever.
Right? Do kid things. Yes, you can still send your message out to the world or whatever you want, and if that wants to be your life's mission, all the more power to you. That is not a fucking attack. He's just telling you, you may want to be less angry. Look at the video that we just played with as soon as Trump walked into the room, arms crossed and a huge scowl on her face.
Although I feel like that was kind of scripted, though.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean?
She wants to be an actress when she grows up. Her parents are actors. Like, she is an actor for all intents and purposes with this whole thing. Thunberg responded swiftly, changing her Twitter profile to read, "A teenager working on her anger management problem, currently chilling and watching a good old-fashioned movie with a friend." Oh my God, this is why I absolutely love Trump. Troll level over 9,000. Just like, he fucking made that bitch back to the Stone Age. Between him and Ted Cruz, oh my God, Americans, you guys have some masterful trolling in your party. Trump, who funnily enough was named Person of the Year after winning the 2016 presidential election, has criticized the magazine before for passing him up in years since. Of course, because he's a bit of a fucking megalomaniac. He's a narcissist. Big fucking deal. You want any of his detractors want to talk about that? Sure, we can talk about how much of a dick he is, but he's not a bad president. And he didn't attack Greta. He didn't attack Rapinoe. He doesn't attack LGBT. He doesn't attack AOC. At worst, he critiques them. At best, it's a little bit of fun trolling because he knows they're gonna take that bait, hook, line, and sinker. I can't do a good Trump. Later Thursday, huge. It's gonna be huge. I do a better Bernie than I do a better. Anyway, later Thursday, Trump's 2020 campaign tweeted an edited cover of Time's Person of the Year cover, which superimposed the president's head on Thunberg's body, claiming that when it comes to keeping his promises, there's only one Person of the Year. Oh my God. That is better than the Joe Biden one I saw.
Just give me a second. My phone's going off.
Sure. I don't know if anybody. Well, your phone's going off, so I'll switch my screen really quickly. You want to bring that up whenever.
Sorry, my phone was fine.
No worries. So basically, she'll bring up the photo in a second. I'm sure most people have seen it. The Time cover. It's Greta looking off into the distance on a rocky shore with the waves crashing beside her, looking all hopeful and whatever. Just shut up. So imagine, as soon as she brings it up, the one I saw was that picture, but behind her was Joe Biden holding her shoulders, smelling her hair, and I thought that was gold. If that was gold, the one with Trump, his superimposed face, oh my God, that would be platinum. I'm gonna look for that right now.
I just wonder if Joe would ask her to rub his leg hair. You know what I mean?
It's so weird. That is
I
so
know.
weird.
Oh my god, that guy is just like, okay, he needs to be put out to the ranch and just retire with a dog and do whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And in other news, Functional's head explodes. No, you know me. I'm just animated. I get a little passionate about things I talk about that, on a very fundamental level, like the whole China thing, that really offends my sensibilities. At the end of the day, though, I don't let it dictate my life. I still go on with my life with all the evil in the world, with all the bad shit that's going on, and yeah, Mustafa, fucking David Hogg too. Jesus Christ. Way to be professional, Jen. With a snow Mexican. She's probably too busy being a host or drinking beer in her toque, eating her moose meat.
And I'm just
Mustafa, I'm pretty sure you were on P Dog's stream earlier where he was saying, it wasn't the teen who invented new ways to remove plastics from the ocean, or better, the other teen who came up with better ways to recycle, or any of these teens who are actually doing good. It's this know nothing, do nothing high school dropout who thinks she knows better than everybody, who's parroting her handler's talking points. Because I don't know if anybody, it's few and far between that you actually hear her talking off the cuff. She's not good at it at all. If she goes off script, she's terrible. It's like listening to AOC talk off script. It is retarded. Bring up the screen real quick.
Oh,
I
sure.
got
Sorry,
two quick pictures to show. So, excuse me. That is the Time cover of the year. So, as I said, imagine that there's a creepy Uncle Joe behind her sniffing her hair. That was gold. But this one is platinum. This one is fucking triple dipped. Oh wait, wrong screen. Here we go. Right screen. Behold.
There we
The
go.
trolling level is over 9,000. This is fucking amazing.
Oh, wow.
This is huge.
Yeah.
This is huge. Yeah. He literally has to have a design team just to pump this shit out, because it is too good. Like, this is the type of shit that you would get from 4chan, but he's got his team on it doing it. And just like his detractors, the people who should actually be front and center over Greta, just like Trump's detractors, he's getting some shit done. There's stuff that you can disagree with and that we can talk about, but he's getting some shit done. He made promises. He's getting shit done. His detractors, what the fuck are they doing? They're wasting time. They're wasting money on bullshit investigations that have no merit, no evidence, no basis. And it's a witch hunt. It's bullshit. As someone who really doesn't have a dog in the game, but as an outsider looking in, it is embarrassing.
Yes, actually.
It is literally the biggest embarrassment I've ever seen in politics.
And people are not realizing how much of their taxpayers' money is being pissed away on this shit.
Yeah, not only are we pissing away their $180,000 a year salaries plus benefits plus, but the actual time and money it takes to have these hearings, and the people, the subordinates that they have to hire to research and do all this shit, and again, over nothing. There's no basis for it. My only hope is that the the backlash that will come out of this is that there will be a excuse me, getting a little froggy in the throat. There will be a no holds barred sort of investigation into a lot more politicians, digging up a lot more of their skeletons, because statistically, these politicians, most of the career politicians, have a lot of skeletons in their closet. And if we start poking and prodding, look at what's happening to Biden with the whole Burisma thing with his son. These things matter to people, and the Dems are trying to sweep that under the rug. Well, hey, this is actual the Hillary thing, selling uranium to Russia. This is actual shit that actually matters. It might not be illegal. It is immoral and should be talked about. But no, the Dems want to sweep that under the rug. Where the fuck did I come up with that? And point, orange man bad. Orange man bad. Well, why? You're not giving. He's a racist bigot. Yeah, Russian asset. What proof? No proof. Orange man bad. Like they're literally apes flinging their shit at Trump, and nothing is sticking.
See, here's the thing. They want to say orange man bad. Aren't they themselves being racist then at that point?
No, because you can't be racist against white men. Again, coming back full circle to like men's rights and everything.
Yeah.
Look at social media. Look at the public discourse. Politics. You can be outwardly entirely racist and bigoted towards somebody because they're white, male or female. You can literally be a complete fucking bigot. I can get yeeted off of Twitter, permanently banned, because I was giving facts to actual racists, actual black supremacists. In my younger years, I've confronted actual neo-Nazis and talked to them about their path in life. And I still hold it as a point of pride in myself that I converted in some way or another to young people to not go down that path entirely.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. That's a good job.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I talked to a lot of them, and a lot of them were very set in their ways. And you know what? Great. They're not going to turn around, and they're not the type of neo-Nazis that are going to turn around and stab me in the eye for being a Jew, but they will, illogically hate me for being ethnically Jewish, Ashkenazi. Like it's you can't reason with those people. But if you can just, through the power of your words, touch one person to change for the better, the objective better, and make their life better, objectively better, by not being hate-filled. This is why we need freedom of speech. This is why we need these platforms to actually adhere to the laws on the books, not hide behind 230, act in practice, acting as publishers, but on paper saying that they're just simply platforms. They're curating content left, right, and center. They're yeeting people off for having the wrong views, or because they get dogpiled, being, visibly white, getting dogpiled on Twitter by a bunch of black people who are racists. But because of the color of my skin, I'm actually treated like a second-class citizen. And this is wrong, and it's scary that it's actually being put into practice. Because we're not China. We're fucking the West. We are the West. We are the United States. We are Canada. We are the Siamese twins of the West. We need that freedom of speech in our social discourse, or else you get these groups of people, Black Hebrew Israelites and the like, who are the actual evil people in the world because they are hate-filled bigots. But because we can't debate them, we can't bring them into the public square and talk for fear of being ostracized from the public square. Like with being yeeted off of Twitter, I can't contact most of my public representatives now. I can't contact some government services. There are avenues to access these services. I'm simply saying, to get oh Jesus, Sanut, you fucking bastard, that was loud. to and it kind of made me lose my train of thought, but you guys know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, no, it's just frustrating because like you sit back and like I observe a lot of things because that's how I form my opinions and stuff. And it's just like I see these people like just like day-to-day people, just being nationalist, happy about their country and being pride about their country. But then, oh, you're a white nationalist because of your skin color. No, I'm nationalist because I'm proud of my country and how far we've come, you know? And it's just like, oh, you're still a bad person because you're white. And it's just like, how am I the bad person of being proud of my country because I'm white? Like the
Oh my
value.
god, did you see that video I was playing while you were talking? I'm sorry to cut you off. That was just
no
too
worries,
good.
Yeah.
Oh, Noof, that was just too good. I'm very
Yeah, it
sorry.
was
I want you
actually.
to,
No worries.
to hold that thought, but
No worries.
the Trump Thanos snap, I'll play it again.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was watching it.
Sorry, continue.
Now he's going to be known as the Purple Man bad,
All right.
Look at those sad, evil sacks.
Oh, I know.
Oh.
Everyone there should be.
Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, those are just because they are, except for Maxine Pad, they are self-hating bigots. They are white people who hate white people. They are white people who they're self-loathing, self-flagellating, just no good, hateful people. These are the type of people that, again, we need to bring to the public square, debate and shine the sunlight on them, show and disinfect them, and have their bigotry in the open to say, here are the actual racist people, here are the actual bigots, the actual problems with society.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's just like I've come across some people, like obviously working in kitchens, you yourself functional, like there's no whole, that there's no gloves in a kitchen whenever it comes to like.
Oh, there's no filter. Yeah.
Yeah.
You try to leave some things at the door, but for the most part, it's colloquially, not in practice, but colloquially, like a boys' club. Like people, men and women, talk like fucking sailors. We yell at each other. We say some shit. At the end of the day, we pat each other on the back and we say, good job.
Yeah, exactly.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Because like, again, not everybody understands the context of the moment and not taking it personal.
Of course. You're comrades in arms. You're fighting a different kind of war, a different kind of battle. Working in a kitchen is a completely different beast than a lot of industries.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, there is that camaraderie. So good. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking at the results so far over across the pond. And so far, there's only 5 seats that have come in, but 4 for Labour, 1 Conservative. To be expected, they're in the northeast of England, so it's Scotland. I don't know. Just typically a Labour stronger section, but not to really jump the gun on any predictions. But just it's starting to trickle in. I'm sure we'll have results on Saturday to talk about.
Right. So, how long are we gonna go tonight? I'm not sure.
Well, Sanute, being the dickhead that he is doing Tucker Thursday, so we're gonna lose a lot of people, including myself, because I'm a fan of Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
I like getting I like how Sanute curates it all for me and gives me just the little bites I want to consume rather than having to watch all of Tucker all throughout the week. But it's one of my personal indulgences that I like. But yeah,
you're the captain running the show right now, so it's your
up
call.
to you, Jen.
Yeah.
All right.
I got nothing else going on. Today's my day off, so.
I
put on pants for this, so that's something.
Put on pants? Why?
Well, it's PJ pants, right? So
I'm
getting takeout later, so.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we could slowly shut it down just because like it's been 2 hours and
Yeah.
I
I've
don't
already closed my
your stuff. Yeah, it's
Windows
kind of one of those things. I'm still not sure with the Streamlabs, like if there is really a time limit on how much you can do in the basics. Like I don't know. Bloodwings got me like let's just keep it to like 2 hours to like maybe no less than 3. But because I only do like 2 major streams during the week, but I don't know. I just don't have money to pay people, so
Well, okay. Well, you don't have to pay me for anything. I'm just here for the ride.
but I don't have money for Streamlabs either, so
Which is fine.
Sorry, I had Mr. Green Jeans was visiting and he was kicking me in the lungs.
As he disappears again.
What do you mean Streamlabs?
StreamYard, sorry.
Yeah, the free version you can only do something like 40 hours a month, which is good because half of the show is on your channel, half is on mine, so we shouldn't really excuse me, Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
It's okay.
It's just like a really bad smoker's cough, you know.
Well, it's more so talking for 2 hours, plus sparking up a joint, plus the heater kicking on, so the air's getting dry. All these different factors takes a toll on my voice.
As you can now hear, he's from his 40s now to an 80-year-old man.
Oh, I've always coughed like a fucking greenhorn since I started.
Yeah. No worries, no worries. Oh. Elwen, don't make me more hungrier than I already am. I'm deciding on getting like really, really awesome poutine or Chinese food.
Oh, don't mention Chinese food. Jesus Christ. Now what have you done? Yeah, I mean, I know we really like we've kind of lost most. I'm oh my God. I'm really sorry, guys. I know we had a bit of an audience earlier, but now I think it's just down to the 4 of us, the 3 of us, and Elwin. So I do have Streamlabs. Not that I'm gonna start shilling it, because I mean, first you gotta put some like. At this point, fuck it, we're done. You have to put out a product out or service that people want to consume first. And how I see streamers is put the product out first, and then you can monetize. Or, not monetize, but at least say, hey, there's a way to support the channel and support us. I have a Streamlabs. I'm not going to shill it until we do have that product. We are on our stride, and we do maybe start getting a more consistent audience. And ultimately, it's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I like doing it.
And then, anybody that donates $100, he'll start reading 50 Shades of Grey, like Gilbert Gottfried.
Now, why would you? Oh no, I can't. I can't do.
Okay, I think we're killing him at this
I do voices, but I'm getting a little stuffed up. Like I said, there's just the talking for so long. It's kind of wearing me down. I need to take if we were to continue, I'd be taking a 2-minute break right now. I do voices. I've done voice acting. I've done real acting. Done voice acting. But with everything that's going on, I can't really do my Iago voice right now.
Oh yeah.
Some of them like Magwal, are a little bit easier to do just on the fly. Like I can do a Scottish accent pretty good. Things like that. Those are the easy ones. But if I had to do Gilbert Gottfried, where I actually have to like change how my vocal cords are processing the vibrations, oh God, that I need to warm up. I need to.
You need a fisherman's friend by the sound of it.
No, I really just need a drink. I finished my drink. I have no liquids. Only smoke, no liquids.
Elwin, you might want to get on that department just a wee bit.
Yeah, because I'm probably only going to stay up for another hour or two and then fall the fuck asleep again. I slept for maybe 2 hours this afternoon, and other than that, I was up for 20 hours playing State of Decay 2.
Baller.
It's the problems with being a cripple in pain all the time and an insomniac.
I understand your plight.
So if we're wrapping up, anything you want to...
Chill. Anything you do? Like, do you play games? Do you I know
And
you
lo
work.
and behold, the lovely significant other, who I would probably be dead without, just brought me a frosty, ice cold drink.
Aw, how sweet of her. She's so nice. Get her
Oh,
something
that's
nice
so
for
much
her
good
birthday.
on. Feels so
Christmas.
good on the throat. Oh,
There you go. Usually, I'm very heavy in Irate Alex's Discord. You can find me there.
that's how we became the bestest of friends.
Yes, I know, but you don't let me touch your butt. What the hell's up with that?
That's Elwyn territory only, and even then, it's restricted territory.
I bet she fondles it nicely, just like how
I
she
don't like
fondles.
butt stuff. I
Yeah,
don't
but,
like.
like-
I don't like giving. I don't like the thought of receiving. It's not my
So
bag,
that's not a
baby.
fudge packer. Anyways, no, I'm usually heavy on Irate Alex's Discord. You can find me there. Obviously, the name you see on the screen is going to be the YouTube channel that I'll be starting in the new year.
Cool.
So keep your eyes out for that. I also like, I'm at this point in my life where I'm just like, too many people I've been running into have like zero life experience.
Hmm.
You know.
Yep.
And like, I know I'm only 33 and still trying to figure life out, but at the same time, it's just like, how do you not understand that if you're going to move from one city to another, that you might want to like plan ahead and get a job there first?
You want to share my screen real quick while we're leaving the
You
stream?
know? Anyways, but yeah, so like, it's also going to be slice of life stuff. That is amazing.
Isn't it though?
That
And
is
because
amazing.
of this meme, I actually went back the other day while Elwyn was over at her parents' house for the weekend. Had a Jean-Claude Van Damme action movie marathon. So you know, like Hard Target, Kickboxer, Bloodsport, which is this.
Yeah.
You break my record, I break your friend. And
Yeah.
Bolo, the crazy looking Asian dude, he is not aged well. I huge fan of his work from the 70s, 80s, 90s, but he's not aged well. He was a massive dude, and also trained in martial arts as well. So he kept up his physique, but he's aged very poorly. He's got those magical Asian genes that just, you look like
Shut
you-
off at like 40.
you stop at like mid 30s, maybe 40s, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're 60, but you look like you're 90. Just like boom. They hit
Yeah.
what we call the yellow wall.
Yeah. So yeah, no, just looking to make some content. I'm also a my obviously functional. You're aware of this, but I'm also in a relationship with somebody who has chronic illnesses. So again, that's another conversation that needs to be had, because like not too many people would just be like, "Oh, that bitch is crazy. I'm just leaving her." Well,
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, she may be crazy, but maybe if you stick around and be like a helpful support and figure it out, and I'm coming up to 6 years with this woman, and yet the Stockholm syndrome hasn't rubbed off yet, and two, it's really weird that she still loves me. I'm the one that randomly runs up to her and says "love crab" and then pinches her butt and then runs away giggling like a grade 6 schoolgirl.
I do something similar where I'll just walk up and just start poke. poke, poke, just right on her
I'm
butt, just like
touching you.
poking her butt, or
Yeah.
like doing the cat rubbing up against the butt sort of thing, like.
I will have to take that one from you now. I don't think
Um,
she would appreciate that one though.
it's it's the quirky things that men do to like show that they care, show the affection in a sweet, funny way.
Mhm.
Well, that's really good. And I know, just personally, if, hypothetically, if I was living under the American system, I'd probably be dead because of the lack of health care, because of my problems, being on disability, not being able to work through no fault of my own, but at
Mhm.
the same time, not getting justice through the system that should be there to protect its employees.
Yeah, exactly.
wasn't a work accident per se, but anyway, moving past that, because I don't really want to harp on that and talk too much about what's
no,
wrong
that
with
could
me.
be-
But
that
the
could be
sentiment is there. Like, I agree with you. Let's not only start bringing mental health issues and destigmatizing them and letting people talk about them. And yes,
Mhm.
that even includes maps. I don't agree with them. They're
I
still pedos. They're non-acting pedos, but there's something fundamentally wrong in their brain. Let's talk about it. Let's do research. Let's
Yeah,
try to
exactly.
figure out where they're coming from and what is going wrong, so that we can
Yeah.
maybe fix the solution down the road.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, it all comes back to full circle freedom of speech and having an open marketplace of ideas.
Mhm.
And on that note, folks,
Yep.
we have been the Snow Mexicans.
Yes,
I'm
thank you very
functional.
much for the invite.
No,
Mostly
great to have
dysfunctional,
you.
functional. Thanks for coming, Noof.
Thank you very much.
It's good to finally have you on the show, because you and I have been working behind the scenes to try to get you on here
Yes.
for a while now.
Yes.
And I know,
Like-
being the hard-working man that you are, it is, and especially I know, working those kitchens, you can't really commit to anything.
Yeah.
10 years of my life right there pissed away
Mhm,
doing shit like that.
Yeah,
But
it was,
anyways, I got
16
plenty of
for
stories
me.
for that shit.
We keep bringing up the idea of having separate themed streams, so we should do some of that in the future. But
I'm just grateful to get other Canadians on here too. Like I know so many Americans and so many Brits, and then you come back to Canada, I'm like, oh yeah, it's 37 million people. You'd think there'd be more of us online, but
I don't know if you've heard me say this in past streams, Noof, but I want us to be less of a joke to our cousins down south and our cousins across the pond, and be more, hey, this is actually stuff that's going on, and hey, we actually believe a lot of the same things, even though we have a lot of things different.
Yeah.
So we're not just a joke. Yes, there are jokes going on. There are jokes going on everywhere, and we will be the first people to laugh at Trudeau blackface.
Yeah.
But there are also certain things that are going on that do affect our biggest allies, and there's certain things that we should cover, and also to cover their stuff every now and then with a little Canadian joviality.
Oh, of course. I mean, I come from an island where we have entitled cyclopedias of Newfie jokes.
Yep.
And also, don't forget Dildo Newfoundland.
Yep.
That still cracks me up. Still cracks me up. Oh, anyways. Yes. No, thank you so much for having me on, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. Whenever I get into much more of a stable situation, functional, I would like to do a stream with you talking about like kitchen life, and if you're willing to, about your reasons of being on disability and what happened, and like the mental aspects of it.
Sure. Yeah.
And Jen, if there's anything that you can add to the conversation as well too, I'd be more than willing to sit down with you as well too.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, she's kind of, I mean, it's kind of, we've kind of de facto becoming each other's partners in crime on streams. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. And
we just randomly turned around one day and said, you want to do a stream? Sure. And it just kind of took off from there, and yeah, we're running with it, because maybe we should end it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like, no, it's all good. I just don't want to keep droning on about people like our behind the scenes stuff. live when no one's really watching anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No worries,
exactly.
guys. I'm gonna shut down the stream. That's actually opening for me because I could smell my brother's food, and I wasn't hungry for what he's eating, but now I'm kind of hungry. So,
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
so at least the stream end is done. But I mean, we can keep talking after the stream, so that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
And say goodbye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
my body, my choice. Don't tell me what to do.
Don't eat yellow snow.
Bye, guys.